How's it going, guys? Got another receiver. It is a STA2380. This came out in 1988, Radio Shack. Despite what people think, this is a metal face. The 2380 and the 2700 is black with a metal face. So it's people think that they are plastic. It was the last 1989, and the 2700 was the last year for the metal, and was also the last of the series. Basically, you had 2270 to 2280, the 2500 to 2600. This 2380 and the 2700 all seem to have a relation to each other. Oh, and I would also include a STA116, which is a smaller unit, but it was also seemed to be related. Alright, so I like throwing in a little bit of history and relation stuff to these machines so that people are more aware of them. But anyways, I particularly like collecting the ones with, you know, this design. It's my favorite of the Radio Shack stuff. I do collect some of the other ones. But anyway, on with the video of what this is about. This is number 3 of these. I have 3 2380s, and pretty much I keep buying them to try to get better pieces and parts, to try to have one that's really nice, and then, you know, have one as a garage machine maybe. And then, well, there's this one. I want the top off of it. There is a little bit of a dent here that I need to straighten out, but the finish on it is pretty good. There's a couple of little small things here and there, but I want this top. I exchanged this top out for something else. The description on it was that they tested it and it worked, but on the pictures of the thing, the power meter was only reading on one channel, and they had it on a radio station, but it was only reading on one channel, and the other side was not reading anything at all, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, maybe one side was burned up and they wasn't being truthful. And I kind of wonder if other people thought the same thing, or just put 2 and 2 together and wasn't buying it, because they only wanted, like, I think it was like 30 some bucks for the thing, and then shipping. While this machine generally sells a lot less than the 2600 and the 2500, just because it's black. You know, they sell for around $100. But it basically, this right here is basically the same machine as the 2600. If you want, this is kind of in between the 2600 and the 2700. It has a volume knob. If you're looking for, like, say you owned a 2600 and you kind of want, you know, that machine back, but you don't want to spend $300 to $400 for it, because those go for a bit more mostly, especially good condition ones. But this is the same machine, except it actually has some upgrades. But the heatsink inside is better upgraded. The power supply has a couple little changes over on little transistors and stuff that regulates power. They did put a bigger package in. The filter caps are bigger. The transformer seems like it has more iron to it, but it's probably a little bit better. Actually a little bit better machine than a 2600. There is some things about this machine that is mysteries. Like, the feet are missing, and there's screws screwed into the bottom of it that don't match. They're not the original screws. The seller did mention this stuff, so there is some things like somebody's had it apart. For what reason? You know, and obviously they maybe didn't really know what they was doing, because, you know, most times somebody that doesn't know what they're doing doesn't put the feet back on, or just screws in the wrong spots. So I'm leaning towards that. So we're going to open this up. Also, I like to mention the volume knob. The whole pot is falling off. And also back to the one side reading something while the other one wasn't. I have speakers hooked to it. And, well, that wasn't balanced. Let's try that again. Let's turn the bass all the way up so those meters really do something.
White cotton thread. Well, you drink beer and whiskey, boy, and you know I don't drink red. Found it over in the
I'm probably playing that too long. I don't want my video copyright problems. I probably already paid it too long. You see what's going on there at one side? But the sound seems to be level. I mean, it's kind of hard for you guys to see that, but it seems balanced on the audio output, but not here. Could be a capacitor issue or something, but I don't know. If there was a little hiccup in the videos because I cut a little section of it out of that video audio stuff, but anyway. And it seems to be fidgety about it. But it's the meter. It's the meter, not the amp. Let's go to... Okay, that's that side. Seems balanced. That's the meter. Alright, got the top off of it. And I'm not really seeing anything that's funny repaired or anything. The only repaired thing that I'm seeing maybe is right here on this power switch. These two solder connections right here are kind of dry looking and blotched. There's a possibility there's an issue there, or was an issue there, and that's why somebody had the top off or the bottom. You know, I don't know. It has all the original caps. There is a ton of hours on it. It appears to have a ton of hours. By the color of the boards, there's a lot of dust and debris in it. Another thing is a sign of hours is the components, it gets hot. The solder connections on them are kind of rough. They could be, you know, use some touch up. The tops of these caps are blowed out. Blowed up. See there. But that doesn't mean the cap's bad. This power supply gets very warm and it hovers right above the caps, and then if somebody puts a component or something on top of this, like a CD player, it just holds the heat in here and it just bubbles up the tops. But I have seen them caps bad also. So one thing I've noticed with them is that they oftentimes blow out the bottom. So when we get the, you know, bottom off of it to see if there's anything funny down in there, you know, we'll be able to see if there's anything coming out of them there. And there's ways to test them without taking them out. And they're very large capacitors too, so testing them. Turn the machine on, charge them up, turn the machine off, wait it 24 hours and see if there's any voltage on those capacitors. These machines here don't discharge them generally, so you know, this machine in particular doesn't discharge them, so they should have some charge on them after 24 hours. If not, they're probably getting crap. It doesn't appear to be ever been burned up, as far as the fact that it does still have the original, you know, 0.39 or 0.33, what are they? 0.39 emitter resistors. It has those. Most of the time they get supplemented for something else. I'm not sure about, I don't know. Looking at the transistors, it's possible that they got, it's possible they've been replaced, I don't know. But generally if they burns out that emitter resistor. But I'm just looking at the paste on there. It looks like it's been interrupted. But it could have been just interrupted while it was being assembled. Who knows? We'll get the bottom off of it. Okay, so further trying to track down why they had the bottom of this machine off, it still remains a mystery. I'm not seeing anything like any joints resoldered. I'm not seeing anything different. It's just, it looks like the way it should look. They also had the front of it off, because you can see here, well, that don't make any sense really. There's these tapered screws. They're supposed to go a little bit more flush to the aluminum, and the bottom of these machines would have had a black painted screw. That's what all the rest of them have. It's a black painted screw right here, similar to, you know, these screws, but just black. And then the other side, the top, will have these screws so that the top of the machine, you know, sits, you know, goes across flush. So it makes no sense really. I don't know why they had it apart other than that, possibly that power switch. But well, I guess I'll take the front off, see if we can't tighten that up. As far as that display and the power meter thing, there's a number of capacitors on here. I don't know, you guys probably can't see anything. And there is a couple ICs down there that probably drives them. I don't know. There are two ICs. You figure you got a right and a left. They're both identical ICs. You know, maybe I can get around to just change all the caps, see if it improves. Capacitors are usually the number one suspect to all this stuff, it seems. Alright, so this is a display out of a 2700. As far as exchanging this entire display out to this is not possible. One, it is completely different display from like here down. And also I believe this IC right here was at fault in the other machine, but this machine don't have that IC anyways because this one does not have the functions, pretty much the functions of the remote control and things like that. Volume control I believe is down here. But anyways, the things that we have a problem with is that one power meter doesn't want to work right. This IC right here goes off to here, and then these pins right here runs this side of the power meter. So you see here, here's that IC. So that's a possibility of one we need to change, and it is the exact same part in this one here. I'll change out the capacitors, or these capacitors right here, connect to this IC. So, you know, I'll change those first because it's easy. But if that doesn't fix it, then I'll go to this IC right here. But first off, I'm going to change the capacitors on the main power supply, see if it makes any difference, you know, and then if it doesn't, then we'll move on to this. Oh yeah, I forgot to add that I just had to tighten that nut up right there to fix the volume knob, and after I did that I discovered that it was bent. So I just put you know, the same wrench, I just adjusted it down to the shaft size, you know, and carefully bent it back, and it might be a little bent still, but pretty good shape. And I also, here's those holes I was talking about for those main filter caps. You can see there, if these blowed out, they leak out the bottom of that right there if they're junk. So they're probably okay. So since the last take, I decided to stop and take a break, and I was editing the video, and I kind of noticed it when I was editing the video. I had headphones on, and I noticed it whenever I was, you know, switching from right to left. In person, it sounded the same, but on the video, it didn't. So came back in here, hooked a set of headphones up, hooked my player up to it. I have a 1 kilohertz tone on there, which is also nice, even though I don't have an oscilloscope, because then you have, unlike music where both sides are varying all the time, the 1 kilohertz tone should be even across your ears. You know, and it's a lot easier picking something up with a set of headphones than it is with speakers. But anyway, it's the bass control, and it is smashed. You see here how pushed in it is? And if you like barely even touch that thing, you lose all of the bass on one channel. And pretty much here and do some demonstration. Right now it's working. You know, so we got even. That is the problem. It's not the drivers or anything like that. Another thing that's a dead giveaway is when you go turn the machine on, it goes full. Watch. So if there was something wrong with the drivers, you know, it wouldn't do that either. You know, so that is the culprit right there. I got some from an extra machine, and I can tell you it's not dirt either. It's not you know, dirt on that pot. I mean, it is smashed. It's got to be, you know, I got to change it out, which it should be pretty easy from the bottom. I'll just take this guy loose, desolder it, and switch them out. That should do the job. Other than that, I will recap that power supply. That is on my have to do list. It has to be done. Alright, we got the new pot put in there, and recapped power supply board, at least for the most part. Some of them I couldn't replace. So she's pretty working pretty good. Some of these capacitors are larger than what they used to be on the power supply. It's potentially a startup. They could eventually take out a diode, but I did that exact same thing once before on another one. It's started up dozens of times now. Hasn't popped any diodes, but so I'm gonna go with it. Starting to run low on certain capacitors. I need to make an order. But anyway, I think it's ready to get put back together, and seems to be working pretty good. So yeah, just another note. Just put some new drivers in my what they call these, Nova 16s. And I just replaced the driver. The foam was bad on them, and I'm not into the whole foam thing. These things are really super nice. Got them brand new in the box, 30 years old. And let's hear with the cover. Here's one of the covers. Kind of hard to. But, they got pressure points from the foam being pressed against them for 30 years. They was in the box, said Nova on the side, and they was wax papered, wrapped. They'd never been out of the box. It's kind of interesting how something can stay in the box for 30 years. But anyways, alright, well, we'll get this guy buttoned up. Alright, I went through my stash and found the original feet that goes on it, and replaced all the screws in the bottom with the ones that's supposed to go there, including the little black ones that goes on the faceplate. For whatever reason, they also had the mounts for those all bent, and then they had the cover all twisted to match their bent up mounts. I don't understand a lot of what they had going on here, but I straightened it all back out, and now it's all nice and straight. Just got the top to go. Alright, we got it all back together, and here is the parts replaced. And I'll do a little sound test. No more. Turn it down for a second. No more problems with the knob. So there it is. I'll catch you guys later.